February 9th, 6:14 in the morning. A neighbor called the police after noticing Martin Hale's door slightly ajar. That detail matters, remember it. Martin Hale, 41 years old, forensic accountant. Methodical, precise, a man who wound his watch every single evening before bed. Found dead on the floor of his fourth-floor apartment. No signs of forced entry, no signs of struggle, and a deadbolt that, according to every investigator on the scene, had been locked from the inside. This is case 001, the clock that stopped at 2:48. Let's go back to the beginning. Martin Hale built his career on finding things people tried to hide. Numbers that didn't add up, accounts that didn't balance, money that moved when it shouldn't. For 15 years, he was meticulous, untouchable, trusted. But in the months before his death, something had changed. Colleagues described him as withdrawn, distracted. His work partner, Owen Marsh, later told investigators Martin had seemed, and this is the word he used, troubled. We'll come back to Owen. Martin's apartment, 4th floor, one entrance. The building had a single CCTV camera covering the main entrance and the corridor leading to the stairwell. No blind spots, no secondary exits on that floor. The window in Martin's apartment had been painted shut. Building maintenance confirmed it hadn't been opened in over 2 years. So when investigators arrived at 6:14 in the morning and found that door ajar, they weren't looking at a locked room mystery. Not yet. That changed when they found the deadbolt. Engaged, fully locked, from the inside, which raised an immediate question. If the door was ajar when the neighbor found it, how had the deadbolt been locked at all? Think about that for a moment. 3 people had keys to the building's front entrance. Claire Hale, Martin's estranged wife. Owen Marsh, his business partner of 11 years. And Della Rowe, the building's superintendent. Each of them was contacted within hours of the discovery. Each of them had an alibi. None of those alibis held. Claire Hale told investigators she had been home all night. Alone. In bed by 10. But at 1:10 in the morning, a traffic camera 2 streets from Martin's building captured her vehicle, traveling toward the building. When presented with this, Claire changed her account. She said she had driven past, couldn't sleep, was worried about Martin, didn't stop, didn't go in, drove home. Possible, but not provable. Owen Marsh told investigators he had spent the evening at the hotel bar 2 blocks away. Bar staff confirmed he was there until around midnight. After midnight, nothing. No card transactions, no CCTV, no witnesses. Owen said he went to his room and slept. His key card showed his room was accessed at 12:47 a.m. It did not show him staying there. A key card records entry, not presence. Della Rowe, the superintendent. At 2:30 in the morning, she logged a noise complaint from the 4th floor, Martin's floor. In her first statement, she said she had heard raised voices, shouting, coming from apartment 4B. She did not go upstairs, did not call the police, logged it, and went back to her flat on the ground floor. In her second interview, conducted 3 days later, she told investigators she hadn't heard anything unusual, said she must have been confused, that it had been a long night. Both statements cannot be true, and investigators knew it. Now let's talk about the timeline, because this is where everything starts to fracture. 10:45 p.m. Martin orders food to his apartment. Delivery confirmed. 11:30 p.m. He makes a phone call. Duration, 4 minutes. The recipient, Owen Marsh. Owen confirmed the call, said it was routine, business-related. Martin's demeanor during the call, according to Owen, was completely normal. 1:10 a.m. Claire's vehicle captured 2 streets away. 2:30 a.m. Della logs the noise complaint. 2:37 a.m. Martin sends a text to an unregistered number. 3 words. I already know. 2:48 a.m. Martin's watch stops. 3 a.m. The building's automatic deadbolt system engages on all 4th-floor apartments. A timed security feature, every night, without fail. 6:14 a.m. The neighbor finds the door ajar, calls police. Now, look at that timeline again. Martin dies at 2:48. The automatic deadbolt engages at 3 o'clock. 12 minutes. 12 minutes in which that door was not locked. 12 minutes in which someone could have walked out. Every investigator on scene assumed the locked door meant no one had left. But the door didn't lock because someone locked it from the inside. It locked because a timer told it to. 12 minutes after Martin was already dead. So who was in that apartment at 2:48? Let's look at each suspect one final time. Claire Hale was 2 streets away at 1:10 a.m. But the noise complaint came at 2:30, an hour and 20 minutes later. Claire's own phone showed no activity between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. No calls, no messages, no data. A phone that doesn't move and doesn't connect for 5 hours in the middle of the night is unusual. But it isn't evidence. Della Rowe had the master key. She had access, she had motive. Investigators later discovered Martin had filed a formal complaint against her 3 weeks prior for entering his apartment without notice. But Della was captured on the ground floor CCTV at 2:41 a.m., 7 minutes before Martin's watch stopped. She was in the building, but not on the 4th floor. Which leaves Owen Marsh. Owen, who was unaccounted for between midnight and the morning. Owen, who made a phone call with Martin at 11:30 p.m. that he described as routine. Owen, whose company Martin had been auditing privately for the past 6 weeks. That detail was not in any official file. It was found on Martin's personal laptop. A private audit, unauthorized, meticulous. Martin had found something. 3.4 million pounds moved through a series of shell accounts over 18 months. All traceable if you knew what you were looking for. Martin knew what he was looking for. The text at 2:37 a.m. Sent to an unregistered number. That number, when traced through the network provider, linked to a pay-as-you-go SIM purchased in cash. Purchased 3 weeks earlier, at a shop 2 minutes from Owen Marsh's home address. I already know. Martin wasn't asking a question. He was sending a warning. Owen Marsh received that message at 2:37 a.m. He was already in the building. The confrontation happened on the 4th floor, which explains the shouting Della heard at 2:30. Martin died at 2:48. Owen left through the front door at some point before 3 a.m. The CCTV covering the main entrance had a recurring fault, a 90-second loop that investigators initially dismissed as a technical error. It wasn't an error. Someone who understood the building's systems knew exactly when that loop occurred. At 3 a.m., the automatic deadbolt engaged. The room locked itself. And what had been a crime scene became an impossible room. Owen Marsh was arrested 14 days after Martin's death. He has not entered a plea. The $3.4 million has not been recovered. Martin wound his watch every evening before bed. The night of February 8th was no different. He just didn't know it would be the last time. The door was never locked from the inside. It just locked itself after everyone had already gone. This was Case 001, Hidden Truth Bureau. Every case hides something. We uncover it.